I often get this question: what steps did you go through to become a nurse in the UK? Hello, hey, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Honey Cooks. So in today's video, I am going to spell out the step-by-step process involved in becoming a UK registered nurse in 2023. There are a lot of people, or there are lots of information circulating that is making it very difficult for people to understand what it really is you need to do. So in this video, I am just going to list out the step-by-step process involved that I use, that I think everyone does use, and make it simple so that if you're considering of relocating to the UK as a nurse, this will be some form of guiding map for you. So if this is something that interests you, do stay tuned. Let me first of all put a disclaimer out there that the process hasn't changed. The process as it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and I even believe 5 years ago hasn't really much changed at all. It's the same process that was then, it is the same process now. Before we get into the step-by-step process involved, I think these are the basic things you need to know, or need to have, or need to be probably, before you even think of becoming a UK nurse. First of all, I would say is you must be a qualified and registered nurse in your home country. So I am from Ghana. So you have to be a registered nurse. You are registered with your home country's NMC. You're qualified. That's the first thing you need to be. I know there are some people that leave the service, they're not practicing. There is no shortcuts to this process. If you're a quack nurse or some form of unqualified nurse, you will not be able to go through this process. Another thing also is that you must have experience. At least I think you must have 1 year experience in the field after your education to be able to qualify, because these employers are looking for people with experience. Although you get trained and all, they still want people who have had some form of work experience. So I think experience is also very important. Now we can go into the step. Now the very first step for most people, and I think it should be the very first thing you decide to do so that you will know where or what you're going to do, is to prepare to register and to pass your IELTS exams according to UK NMC standard. Now, I know some people decide to do other things even before they do the IELTS, but my point is, if you do not pass the IELTS according to UK NMC standard, you'll be wasting your time and money if you decide to do all else. So I think the very first thing you should do is to prepare yourself to write the IELTS exams. IELTS exams is basically an English proficiency exams, but it is not as simple as I am just saying it is an English proficiency exams. It involves preparation. You will need to prepare yourself. You just can't think that because you can speak English or express yourself in English or probably know how to write or anything, you can just register and go and write, because there are a lot of technicalities and formats and things you need to know and understand about the exams before you go and write. So definitely number one step would be preparing, registering, and passing your IELTS exam. After you have passed your exams, that's all that we are hoping for. I mean, not just pass it, but you have to pass it according to NMC UK's requirements, and all that information or the requirements they need from you is basically on the NMC UK website, which I would definitely leave in the description so you can go and read about it. After you are done with this and you have the certificate, the second step would be to register or start your NMC UK registration and verification. So you have passed your IELTS. You now have to declare your intention to NMC UK that, oh, you want to join their register. And so the first thing is you register with them, which you pay, I think, £130. I'm not too sure, but definitely I will check before I upload this video. Now, after you have done this registration, the NMC UK will need to verify the information that you have given. Now, in registering, there are certain things that you go through, like uploading your education certificate, uploading your PIN from your home country, and that kind of stuff. After you've done this, the NMC in the UK needs to verify the information that you have given them. That is where I am saying, if you're a quack nurse or if you are not really a registered nurse, you will not go through this process, because just at that point, you would have wasted your money and everything would have gone to waste. Now, the third point is registering, preparing, and passing your CBT. CBT basically means computer-based exams or computer-based test. It's just an objective structured exams, basically about nursing questions. But most importantly, it is centered around the UK nursing system. So you really need to solve some past questions to get ideas, because there are certain answers to questions that you think that, oh, this is actually right, but when it comes into the UK system, you may be wrong. And there are a whole lot of new things or systems that are in the UK's questions about safeguarding, about falls, and the kind. These are things that are normal to the UK system. We don't usually do stuff about safeguarding and all that. So you really need to prepare yourself for the CBT exam. Now, after you've passed your CBT exams, we now move on to the fourth stage. What is the fourth stage? The fourth stage is job searching. Now, you have your IELTS, you have your CBT, you have started your registering with the NMC. You now have to apply for a job, and that is one of the, I think, toughest part of the process. The job search is not an easy thing. Unlike before, when you might have gotten to this stage, you may get a recruiting agency to fast track the process, and the job search process was not really a tough one. But until 2 or 3 years ago, when WHO placed a ban on the UK from recruiting from certain African countries, this has become a little bit difficult, and so you have to do your application yourself. After you have done numerous job search and then you finally have gotten an employer who is interested in working with you, and you have satisfied all their requirements and they have issued you with the COS, then the next step, which is the fifth step, would be doing your TB test. Now, unlike the US, where there's a whole medical exams that is done as part of their visa process, in the UK, it's basically the TB test, which you need to do to apply for a visa. The medical aspect or the medical exam part comes about when you finally get into the UK. But you need to now register and book a date to do your TB test. Now, after you have done with this TB test, the sixth step will be applying for your visa. And I mean, there are a lot of ways people do apply for their visas. Personally, I chanced upon a document explaining the step-by-step process in applying for your visa yourself, and that's what I used basically, and my visa was approved. I know there are a lot of people that do that. There are others too that will decide that they will go to the UKVI for them to do the whole process on their behalf. That is also allowed, but usually that comes at a fee, so you must prepare yourself. Now, your visa is approved. You have traveled to the UK. Is that the end? Definitely not. There is a last stage that you need to complete, which brings us to the seventh and final stage, and that is preparing and passing your OSCE. Now, the OSCE exams is a practical exams. yeah, basically there are a lot of procedures. About, I think when I did it, it was 10 stations. I still think it's 10 stations. I don't really know, but yeah, it's 10 stations, and you need to pass all the 10 stations for you to get your pin. So you need to prepare for that and pass and definitely get your pin. And it's until when you get your pin and you start working, that is when you are actually deemed as a UK nurse. These are the steps involved in becoming a nurse in the UK in 2023. I am going to go over the steps again. First one is to prepare and pass your IELTS exams. Second step is NMC registration and verification. Third step is registering and passing your CBT exams. Fourth step is searching for a job. Fifth step is doing your TB test. The sixth one is now applying for your visa. And the seventh and final one is preparing and passing your OSCE. I must also add that this process or these steps that I have spelled out involves a lot of money. You need to prepare yourself for. It also involves a lot of time and energy, and you need to prepare yourself for all that as well. So this is the end of my video, and I hope that I've been able to make the steps involved in becoming a UK nurse in 2023 much clearer, and you don't feel as if you are lost again. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Give it a like and give me your comments if you have any. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.